Alright guys, welcome to this video where I will update my case a bit. So before we had the beads in our case, and I just noticed I don't like it a lot and it uses a lot of space. And so I was like, yeah, let's rewire it. What could we put there? And turns out the BIA just sounds awesome. And so, yeah, I kind of reorganized the case around having the BIA. Nice. BIA, super awesome module. Let me start by just quickly adding power for all these modules. All right, and now finally we put in the O control here. As I mentioned in some other videos, like this guy doesn't want to be rack mounted, but we rack mount him anyway. Oh, this one is the wrong way around. All right, and actually before we go on, I will plug in a bunch of screws. All right, let's start with the clock and everything. So this guy produces a clock up here, and we will use this module up here to distribute the clock. So simple, put it here, and like the first consumer will be the steppy. So now this ticks, and we will also need a reset. So the way I like to wire this up is to use the top line for clock and use the bottom line for a reset. And sadly the O control doesn't have a reset out, but we can use the first output here. And maybe this cable is too long. Yeah, let's use this guy. Now you see it resets. And the other consumer of the clock will be the delay. So like this, put it down, and this should be good. Now it's kind of clocked here. So yeah, let's start with the kick. I'll use the first output here. Yes, and let's put in a 4 on the floor. You see it lights up. And the way I decided to wire this in is to use the mixer here. Let's just put the mixer already into the output. Nice. Intense. Let's mute this. And we will use the green channel for the aux and into the delay. And let's wire the delay into the mixer output. One thing that I like is to make the delay stereo. I think it somehow phase shifts it, or I don't know, it sounds nice. So the next thing will be the hi-hats, and here I will be a bit creative. So let's connect them to the output. And the problem is that we have 4 trigger channels. We have A, B, C, and D. We'll use A for the kick, we'll use B for the BIA, C for the SY. And so we only have 1 channel left for the hi-hats. But for the hi-hats, we have both accent triggers and gate triggers, and it is very nice to have them differently. But I noticed that most of the time for the gate triggers, I just use kind of all 16ths. Okay, so I would do like something like this. And so it is a bit of a waste of a channel to use it like that. And so I thought by default, we can have the gate triggers just be the same as the clock. So what happens if you do this is it sounds like this. Okay. And then it sounds nice if you put in an accent trigger. So like here, we are now on channel D. We have kind of on the offbeat, we have the accents. And if we put it, it sounds like this. So it's nice, right? This is kind of what we want. But we want a little bit of flexibility. So what I came up with is that we'll use this trigger to select whether the gate is on the clock, so kind of every 16th like this, or if it's the same as the accent, which means it will be way less. So the way to set this up is we put here the clock into the top bottom of this guy here, and we get a split cable, and we split the accent trigger. and then the output goes into the gate. And now if it's in the top, it's the same as what we heard before. If it's in the bottom, it will just be on the gate. And then to make things more fancy is I want to also select between open and close gate. And then again, it would be nice to have separate triggers. But again, we don't have the kind of triggers. And also, you know, if you have too many triggers, it becomes very annoying to play live. So what I like to do is I will duplicate. So I will put this trigger sequence into the next switch here. I swear this will make sense. Sorry, I will put it here. And then this switch will select whether we do open or closed, okay? So let's do it like this. So the top will be open, the bottom will be closed. So now it's in the top position. So the trigger is from the clock, the accent is accent. And if we put this here, we get the closed, we get open. And if we put it down, we get it only on the accent. All right, this is kind of the first trigger with the hi-hats. Now, very importantly, we don't just put them into the mixer, we first put them into this filter. Cable is too short. All right, and then also very importantly, we will mount this into this modus, okay? And so here the next trigger comes again because we have like not a lot of space. So we want to use this reverb on the send of the yellow line here, but we also want it on the hi-hats and we want it on the voices, both of which we will not put into the mixer. So what I will do to get there basically is we will send here the yellow send into the aux send of this mixer and put this mixer into here. And then the hi-hats, we will mult them to go into this guy. All right. Okay, so I hope this kind of made some sense, probably not, but basically to repeat, we will use this mixer to collect all the signals that go into the reverb, and we collect the yellow line from the main mixer, we'll collect the hi-hats, and then we'll add one line here. And basically this means with this knob we can choose how much reverb to have on the heads. Now, this might have sounded kind of complex, but it's actually easy to remember this in a live setting because you have like very few things you can toggle and it will just sound different, but it tends to sound good no matter where it is. So I like that. So yeah, let's switch this guy to a shorter one. And let's move on. Let's wire in the Loquelic. So for this, the idea is that the top line here will control the pitch, and the middle line will control the envelope. I just put the top straight into the pitch. And that's just directly connected so we hear something, but we will wire this around. So you can hear this works. Now, obviously, we want a filter on all of the things. So let's put it into the filter. All right. And then we will not have any VCA. We will just open the filter when there is a gain. Okay, and for this we will just use this output here. Okay, so the way the O control works is this line controls the envelope here. Let me show you. So we plug this here. And now, if we open some of these, we'll hear sound, and we can make them open more. And then we can kind of control what's the baseline openness. And add a bit of reverb. We kind of copy a few things from the DFAM. So one, we'll add white noise into the second filter. So the way this sounds just adds a bit of gnarliness. The second thing we'll do is we will control the main filter cutoff with this knob. Because then we can record movements. Alright, and then actually we do one more thing. We don't just take this output, we wire it into the guillotine. Alright, and that's kind of voice 1 done. Let's move on for now. So the next line is the BIA. So we use output B for BIA and put it into the trigger. So let's add a little bass line. And yes, let's see if we need the mum. All right, so we put it here. This just sounds so dope. And one thing I want to do is I want to control its pitch with the last line here. Oh yeah. And we control the fold with this knob. Alright, this is awesome. Let's see if we need a filter or not. Another tiny yellow cable here. This is the one thing I didn't try before taking it apart. Yeah, it's kind of nice. I dig it. Yeah. Alright, that's cool. Maybe one more tiny one. I love the yellow cables. I love when I can use a lot of them. Makes life easier. Alright, so the next voice is the SY. Just triggering it with the C channel. What do we do? Let's just do this. And we put it into the third. Actually, do we have any more yellow cables? Yes. Also, you might have noticed I tried to arrange the modules roughly in the order they go in. Kind of easier. Oh yeah. And the plan here was that we use the same pitch as the BIA. Oh yeah. not get too distracted. Yeah, the next thing on the list before we kind of add the final voice is actually quickly, let's wire in the DJ filter. So I used this thing here and the planks to control it. So you can see now it's even, now it's high pass. It's kind of very cool. Up the filter of the reverb a bit. Here's one here. This might be too low. I just love the sounds these things make when you turn them off. It's so fun. Yes, and finally this boy. So maybe one last yellow cable for going from the station into the mixer. And yeah, here we'll use another split because we're really running out of space here. So basically we can control whether we have reverb on the radio module, and we'll feed it into the overall mix with the absolutely last space we have, which is the aux input here.
Guard me in the high level of terror as the one who the intern on measurement. Half of my life hypnosis. But I don't.
Gentlemen, we interrupt our program of dance music to bring you a special bulletin from the Intercontinental Radio News. At 20 minutes before 8 Central Time, Professor Farrell of the Mount Jennings Observatory, Chicago, Illinois, reports observing several explosions of incandescent gas occurring at regular intervals on the planet Mars. The spectroscope indicates the gas to be hydrogen and moving toward the Earth with enormous velocity. Professor Pearson of the observatory at Princeton confirms Farrell's observations and describes the phenomenon as, quote, like a jet of blue flame shot from a gun, unquote. We now return you to the music of Ramon Roskello, playing for you in the Meridian Room of the Park Plaza Hotel, situated in downtown New York.
Than you ever felt before. The idea that a hypnotist must possess some mysterious power is a fallacy. Any power there is lies within you. It is your own imagination and your mind. your clothing at all. Open it. Loosen it. You should not be aware of any part of your clothing. I'm going to give you a few very simple rules of relaxation. There's nothing new about them. The yogis have used them for many decades. Learning to relax physically is the great secret to inducing self-hypnosis. You can learn to relax anytime, anywhere. The way to relax is to recognize tension. Wrinkle your brow very tightly. See how that gives you a sense of worry? Just the muscles tightening up like that makes you feel worried.
Very nice, very nice. Thanks everyone. Thanks for listening.